All right, Purdue and Michigan here. Uh, what is going to happen in this whole situation? The other thing I wanted to say about the BCS, and maybe I can continue it here, is their selection of Ohio State. These goofballs running the BCS. I'm talking to you. Uh, they look to me like they do this. It seems like the last two. I'm trying to remember if it's been both years, last 2 or 3 years, but they seem to rotate there for whatever. And you're sure a team might lose and they'll they're done. We've had this format now for several years, and they get on TV and say, but it looks to me like they pick one of their teams that maybe really isn't number one. Okay, maybe Ohio State. So you can't argue that they could be number one. There's between the uh, teams that are up there, right? We're kind of debating a little bit. So, but you're like, maybe that Ohio State is number one, and we're questioning their, they don't have the same type of explosive offense that they've had maybe. But it looks to me like the BCS they kind of rotate through, try to get everybody hyped a little bit. I think it's a little bit of BS to tell you the truth. And I've only just felt that way when I saw that. I never thought that way necessarily before when I saw this. I'm not anti Ohio State. Maybe they are number one. And I'm sure there's maybe 25% of the people. Maybe I don't know what that committee went through. Anyways, Michigan, they're in there too, and they're big favorites here against Purdue. The total's gone way high here, right? It opened 45 and a half when we were on the circus show, and now it's all the way up here to 52 and a half. It was as high as 54. To me, man, that just looks kind of crazy that it would be so high here in a game that I wouldn't expect Purdue to be able to do much against Michigan. I would think this game probably ends up very close to 42 to 7, 40 35 to 7, 38 to 7, 42 to 7, 38 to 14. That would still make it under, right, by a half a point. That's still getting close, but that's if Purdue does score two touchdowns, and I don't know if they will. I've got the under here at 52 and a half in this one for sure. I don't think this. And look, they were the sharps have been the ones. I mean, they've been pressing this over quite a bit this week, and usually this is a spot I kind of want to roll with them in, but not moving this high here. Just feels like what are they really expecting Michigan to win this one? What 42 to 10, 42 to 10, 42 to 10, 45 to 10, 45 to 14, 42 to 10 would be 52 points and be 32, 42 to 10. So I guess it could, but man, you know, you would expect the clock to be moving here a little bit, and um, boy, just seems I'll be Michigan. One thing I started saying when I first joined Tony's network, this is our second season here last year, was people were like, "Oh, Harbaugh, he takes his foot. He doesn't take his foot off the gas necessarily." But here, even that this one, four touchdowns seem more reasonable, actually. So I'll end up on the under here. And Peasy says he's got a better number for you. And Ferner says they're not number one. That's it, right? So that's what I'm saying, Ferner. And again, I mean, you could actually, even in my mind, where I'm like, they're probably not number one, but I could see where someone could pick them because you can't really I don't know if there's a big difference, but I think the BCS rotates the number ones and watch even next weekend. We did see it last year, if I'm not mistaken, or at least two of the last 3 years where teams were still winning and they were still balancing a different team as number one. And I think they do it just to get the hype in those markets, uh, you know, because they don't know that at this point that those four are going to be final, but